But then look at this. Toronto, a bit closed in the early hours of the morning. Certainly not something you want for the rush hour, but you can see why. Upwards of 70 millimeters fell in just 3 hours. So it caused quite a situation out there. Now, Canada Day weekend, we want nice conditions in southern Ontario. You're going to get them. High pressure is ruling, but the one area that we do have to keep an eye on is here in northwestern Ontario. So Kenora and North looking unsettled for your Friday. And then on Saturday, Thunder Bay rolls into the mix. So going to be a bit messy there, but in southern Ontario, if you're planning a barbecue for your Canada Day, Friday and Saturday looking like the best. Friday morning starting at 19 degrees in Toronto. So really pleasant, but as we head into the latter half of the weekend, humidity builds and we could have some unsettled conditions. Coming up, more on your GTA forecast. Actually, one of the major routes in Toronto, the Don Valley Parkway, actually flooded. Some good news though, none of that to start your Canada Day weekend. High pressure is in place, and the one area that we're going to be keeping an eye on is northwestern Ontario. You can see Kenora and North through Friday is where we're going to be seeing some very unsettled conditions, and then as you head into Saturday, Thunder Bay is going to be part of that mix as well. As for your travels Canada Day in Etobicoke, certainly Friday, that's the one looking like the barbecue day, because as you head into the latter half of the week, the humidex is going to rise, getting into the 40s Sunday into Monday and Tuesday, and we all know that could mean some very unsettled conditions. So you're going to want to keep a very close eye on your forecast. Now for Atlantic Canada, they've had some unsettled weather, that low finally pushing off, so you're actually going to have a very summer-like weekend. But as I say, look at this. By Tuesday evening, you can see the swath of rain, risk of thunder showers in the mix as well. Could be a messy situation. Coming up, more on your forecast as well. By Kenora and North, you're in for some unsettled conditions Friday. Hopefully nothing compared to what folks in East York here. So just in Toronto, around 70 millimeters of rain fell, and it actually flooded out one of the major routes into the downtown core. The Don Valley Parkway did have a closure. Some good news though, high pressure ruling for the start of the Canada Day weekend. So you can see nice dry conditions, but that area north of Kenora seeing some unsettled conditions for your Friday, and then Saturday, Thunder Bay is also going to be in the mix of that. Now we're going to just take a look here at your Kenora forecast. You can see if you're planning a Canada Day barbecue, Friday and Saturday not looking the best. Saturday, a risk of thunderstorms there. Sunday may be your best bet because the wet weather returns for the Monday and Tuesday. Now we head to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and there's still some additional rainfall that's going to be on its way. So you can see through Charlottetown around 5 to 15 millimeters, and then Newfoundland's also going to be dealing with the wet weather as well. So the system, you can see New Brunswick's actually drying out, but the low pressure is now moving into Newfoundland. So through Friday, going to be a wet one. But the great news is you're actually going to be entering a summer pattern as you roll into next week. So the wet weather, you get to pack the umbrellas away finally and enjoy some nice conditions. So look at that. Saturday, some full sunshine in Halifax. Sunday looking fantastic and 26 degrees. Now coming up, we're going to have your forecast for the Maritime provinces with... Thanks, Kim, for that trip around the world. Well, the Maritimes have seen some wet weather. You can see St. John, 61 millimeters of rain. More wet weather on the way, but it will be drying out for the weekend. Now, there are some folks in the Maritimes trying to preserve a piece of history, and Nathan Coleman has more. Coming up just after the top of the hour, Kim McDonald takes us around the world.